Hey everyone, welcome to Bitrate. Today on the show, we're looking through the eyes of a baby shark by the way of Maneater, crawling through pixelated dungeons with zombies and spiders in Minecraft dungeons, and we're also talking microphone and audio hardware for streaming. It's going to be great. I'm your host, Chris, and with me, as always, Jeremy and Joey. Guys, what's up?
How's it going?
How's it going, my brothers
How you guys doing today?
and sisters?
And sisters.
Yeah, there we go.
Don't want to forget the females.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters.
It's been a while. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever.
I feel like I haven't seen you in until 7 hours ago.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
For those of you that
Poor
don't
dinner.
know, like me, Chris, and Joey basically hang out in video chat if we're not streaming anyway. For some reason, it's the cutest thing ever.
We're cool dudes.
I mean, if that's the word you want to use for it.
My wife likes it. She's like, "Are you talking with your friends again?"
Gosh. Okay. Well, so man, we've got a great show. It's a packed show today. It really is.
It is.
But it's awesome because I think I've found one of my new favorite games. And I don't say this often because I like most games don't hold my attention span like I think this one's going to. So let's just let the cat out of the bag. Minecraft Dungeons.
MCD.
Jer.
Well, let's talk about some Minecraft dungeons. First off, I didn't want to play it. First off, because it's Minecraft, and that's just not me. I don't play Minecraft. I try to get into it, and so on and so forth. So to see that they had a dungeon crawler out, that kind of really didn't pique my interest at all. I even went on some streams, and I wasn't at all interested. And then Chris here hit me up one day in an email while he was at work. He says, "Hey, bud, let's play some Minecraft dungeons." I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm not doing it." Well, guess what? He buys a lot of the games that I tell him to buy and he doesn't like to play. Well, I bought it. I jumped into it. Before he got home, I said, "Dude, this is a lot of fun." It's basically a dungeon
Diablo
crawler,
clone.
it's a Diablo clone in a Minecraft world, and you get in there and you level up and you enchant your gear and you get new stuff and you keep going up through the tiers of difficulty. And the game it's not easy. It's not something that you just go in there and like, oh, we're running through the game. No, there is a definite skill level, and you have to gear yourself appropriately to beat some of these bosses. And if you don't have it, you're not doing it.
So what really intrigued me about the game is like there's a charming simplicity to it, right? I mean, in Diablo, you've got different classes with different abilities that all garner to different play styles. But Minecraft Dungeons, there's no classes. But with the gear set that you equip, I mean, there's enough variety there so that you can really play any style that you want. If you want to run and gun, you can do that. If you want to play ranged, you can do that. If you want to play a tanky build, there's ways to do that. There's all of these different facets to this game that, on the surface, you wouldn't think would be there, but they're there.
And not to mention, there are a lot of different skins you can choose from. It's not just like the normal Minecraft skins. There are a lot of cool skins you can use. There's the old ones, but there's also created ones. I'm a woman with pink hair.
Nice.
Oh.
So
all right, I'm surprised you didn't do a Mercy clone.
There's a Mercy clone?
No, that you can create it, right?
Oh yeah, probably.
So
Joey should start over now.
So
you can switch your skin. I believe you can switch your skin.
So the game itself, it's got 3 different difficulty levels, right? There's a starter difficulty, there's a mid-tier difficulty, and then there's endgame difficulty. Each difficulty level it takes you to a higher gear level, basically. So like for the first difficulty, it takes you to like gear level 30-ish. And then I think through the second one, it's like 72 or so. And then the third and final difficulty tier, that's where you can just basically keep going unless I think there's a hard cap, but I don't know what it is at this point. Right. So the plot line to this game, for those of you listening, basically there's an illager that's been cast cast out of the Minecraft universe. Nobody knows why. Doesn't really say, but he's kind of ostracized. So he takes off and he goes on an adventure and he finds this artifact, this powerful artifact. And then he becomes a dictator. Right? And I mean, that's basically what you're going and it's kind of sad because he was basically bullied and then he turns into a bad guy. Then you have to go kill him.
So I think there's a difference between an illager and a villager. I think the illagers, it's kind of like elves and dark elves type thing.
That's messed
So
up.
I think that's why I don't know a lot of the lore behind it, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Because you do see in the intro cinematic, you do see normal villagers being like humph to this illager.
And
you know what I mean? So
full disclosure, this is my first Minecraft game, so I don't know all of the nuance.
There's no hate,
of the
dude.
Minecraft
We're a loving
universe.
community.
There we go. So
it's
Jared,
literally the most popular game on the planet.
I know. We've been playing this.
Isn't that League of Legends?
Like, probably.
Okay.
But we've been playing Minecraft Dungeons for the last like 3 days now, right? So what is your like? What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it?
Well, I like the fact that you can play it with friends. First off, is you're not locked into playing it solo player. It does scale based on who you have with you and what level they are and things like that. We had one of my viewers pop in and he's like, "Hey, can I play?" I was like, "Yeah," and he was much higher than us. And me and Chris basically just chased him around through the whole map. What I do,
like Diablo.
it is like Diablo. What I do like about it though is, like you said, it's simple. There's not a lot of menus and not a lot of different classes. There's not a lot of other things to think about. Just get in there and start cutting shit up.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the accessibility for me was one of the things that really drew me to it, because you can literally just jump in and run dungeons basically. There's none of that leveling aspect to it that like Diablo has. I mean, there's still leveling within the game, of course. And the higher level you get, kind of your gear level goes up with that. But there's no barrier to entry.
Like the torment level?
Yeah, there's no barrier to entry in this one. This one, I mean, you've got like maybe a 10 to 15 minute tutorial on how things work, on how to equip your gear, how that stuff works, but then you're in it. You're in it for good. You just keep going. Right? I love that about it.
Mm-hmm. When we were playing, we were like, okay, let's just do one more. Okay, one more. Okay, one more.
Yeah, you guys have played a lot more than me. I've completed a couple levels in single player, but I can tell it's a game that, from watching you guys do your stuff, and from playing the little bit that I've played maybe like 3 or 4 hours. It's a keeper. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So,
and thank you to Jeremy, who actually gifted it to me. It was a very sweet thing. He does that for me sometimes, and I appreciate it, bro.
No problem. You do more than enough for me, man.
Thanks, brother.
So, yeah, like it's just a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah.
Well, it is, and it's not without lack of story, but you can definitely tell where it's kind of heading. They've already announced that there's going to be 2 expansion packs with it, so that the storyline's going to go. You know what I mean? So I'm really anxious to, now that we've got a running start on this thing, I want to see where it ends up with the next iteration.
And so, just to be clear, just like regular Minecraft, even just the JavaScript version, you go online, just type in Minecraft Dungeons, and you can buy it through there, and it'll connect through your Xbox, your Microsoft friends list and stuff like that. You can't get it on Steam, can't get it on Epic, can't get it on Origin. It's just
basically through Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, it's $19.99 for the basic edition. I think $29.99 for the
hero edition.
The hero edition, which gives you some DLC. I believe the 2 DLCs they promised, or at least the first one, and some extra cool stuff like some extra skins and stuff.
A cape and a pet chicken.
That's
Which
it.
I still haven't figured out how to find my pet chicken, so we'll have to do that later.
It's in the vanity stuff. Like, so if you open your inventory and go all the way to the right, and you have your cape and your chicken, and
That's
yeah,
probably why I haven't
thanks
found
Max
it.
for helping me on that. Yeah.
In regular Minecraft, I have an auto chicken farm, so I don't really need to keep chickens, but I keep chickens around so I can hit them. Because sometimes when you're mad, like a creeper comes through and blows up all your stuff, you can just go punch a chicken real quick, and it's just like makes you feel better.
Oh man, gotta love
Punching
it.
a chicken, yeah.
Punching a chicken. I
Just
think
saying, dude.
okay. I think
It's like slapping the bag.
I think we know what the title of this episode is going to be now.
Nice.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure that there was a movie that said chicken, the challenge, the chicken bleeper.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that kind of movie.
That kind of movie, yeah.
Yeah. No, there's
Well,
definitely gross stuff.
that was definitely Super Troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
I missed it. Sorry.
All right. So I mean, let's give this thing a review because honestly, I think I'm level like 62 now, maybe 52, 62. I don't know. I'm somewhere over there. But man, I've just been having a ton of fun just running back and forth, looting, trying to figure out like new gearings for my character so I can create different play styles. You know, one night I had a super tanky build where I just hardly took any damage at all. The other night I got the gloves that do a crap ton of damage really fast. And you pair that with a little bit of radiance on them and you just self heal into oblivion. But man, like I've been having a ton of fun just finding new stuff in this. Not to mention the fact that there's all kinds of like hidden stuff in the game, right? So there's a bunch of secrets that unlock, I guess, spoiler warning. If you've ever played Diablo and you found the secret cow level, there's a secret cow level.
Paying homage.
We've yet to find it, and we've been trying to go about it organically, meaning we haven't really, like, I haven't looked up all of the secrets and how to find them, but I've just been exploring. I found a few so far. I think I'm like halfway there.
Yeah, we don't want to have to resort to Google.
Yeah. So I mean, the stuff that's secret, it's not exactly like it's like you've got to break the game in order to find it. You just have to basically just keep your eyes open and click on stuff, right?
Right.
So Joe, so far, like, what do you think your impressions have been? Like, what you had to give it a rating so far?
My rating so far would at least be an 8 out of 10 from what I played. It's like Chris said, it's easy to get into. There is a short tutorial, but it's at the beginning, it's not super complex. You know what I mean? You just start doing things, enemies aren't too hard, and then it, slowly ramps up. But it's one of those games that's fun for all ages. You know what I mean? It's Minecraft, so it's not overly violent. You do kill bad guys, but it's not like blood splashing all over the place and stuff like that. It's a good game. So yeah, I'd say right now, an 8 out of 10, at least. At least I'm saying that's low end.
Okay.
Because it is a good game.
Jer, how about you?
I'm gonna give it an 8 and a 5, 8.5, not 8 and a 5, but 8.5. That's definitely going to go up once I see the expansion pack. But I think what really sold me on the game, other than it being kind of just mindless hacking and slashing and stuff like that, is that my 3-year-old, which you might be able to hear him back there, he loves watching me play it. He doesn't want me to kill the cows, but he hates sheep apparently. He's all about me killing the sheep.
Kill the sheep.
Don't touch the cows, Dad. Kill the sheep. And for that, 8.5, cow lover, sheep hater.
Okay. All right. And honestly, I'm right there with you guys. Somewhere between an 8.5 or so. I kind of wish there was a little bit more depth to the story, to the plot, but just for the accessibility and just being able to jump in and play without having to go through, 4 hours of stuff. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 too.
Yeah, and hopefully the story will deepen with DLCs.
Yeah. Hopefully. So speaking of none of that, this is just we just need to segue. Joe,
It's just a segue.
Joe, you finished a game last night.
Yeah, I finished Maneater last night. We teased it last episode, and I've been working my bee off to get to beat that game. Basically, all of my gaming time since then has been, it's I think 40 hours in Maneater, something like that.
So tell us about it.
Well, okay. Um, being able to play a game and the main character is a shark, that you basically win me right there.
Winner right there.
Yeah,
Shark
but
Week.
yeah, I don't. There's a game that's on Steam that we played a long time ago, 3.5 years ago, called Depth, and it's an asymmetrical multiplayer game where you can either play as the shark or you can play as humans trying to outrun or kill the shark. And this was originally supposed to be an expansion for Depth, but they ended up making it its own thing. The production was led by Alan Quick, who also worked on Depth. The plot is basically narrated by Chris Parnell, who's Archer, SNL, um, Rick and Morty, really popular guy, good voice. It's really funny. He does a really good job, and he's the narrator for a film crew that follows down these shark hunters, like down in the Gulf of Mexico. And basically, you start off the game. The tutorial, you're playing as a mama bull shark. So you got all your powers and everything, but then you get caught by a bad guy, and Mama dies, kind of like in Bambi, and then it's a revenge story. You're the baby bull shark, and you grow throughout. You start as I think it's a pup, then you go to teen as you level up, then you go to adult, and then you go to mega. Um, you get different armor sets that do different things. You get different mutations that allow you to do different things. You upgrade those as you would in basically any RPG, from white to green to blue to purple to yellow. And it's really for the game. It's a good price. It's $39.99 on Epic. It's kind of like GTA but underwater. There's a lot of missions and little side quests and stuff like that to get done in it. It's not massive, but there is a lot of content. I could see some people griping about the repetitiveness of the side missions, but I don't have an issue with it because I love the gameplay. Therefore, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10, solid 8.5. Um, it's fun as flippers. The idea is so novel. Um, for replayability, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Only because if you complete the game and get everything, which I did 100%, you basically completed it all. But after you beat the game, you can still run around and kill people and stuff like that. And so I did that for like 45 minutes after I beat the game last night, and I just you can still gain infamy and get people coming after you and stuff like that, but there's none of the story left.
So Joe, let me ask you this: how when you're saying side quest, right now,
Mhm.
is it an open world sort of explanation or exploration?
Exploration is
Okay.
definitely key. You have a radar ability that allows you, and you can use one of your evolutions that expands the radar radius and cooldown and stuff like that. But that's basically how you find these little question marks on your map, and then once you get close to them, you see exactly what that is. To complete the game, you need to explore. That's one of the
So
key
so
parts of the game.
let me ask you this, like circling back to the mutations portion, right, or this aspect of the game, are there
Hmm.
enough is there enough variation between the mutations so that you could replay the game but play in a like with a different play style?
100%. I ended up fully. When you play 100% of the game, you're basically going to be able to level up everything to the max. And there are three different sets of armor. There's the bone set, the shadow set, and the bioelectric set. I played with a good chunk of time with both of them. I ended up beating it with the shadow set, which I put off for a long time, but they all have their perks. And yes, if you basically play the entire game as like one thing, you can have a completely different experience the second time through playing another set of armor. And the evolutions, which are basically like what would you would think of as like the rings or the gloves in like a normal RPG, they're kind of like accessories. Um, there's two, four, I believe seven, and they basically make all the aspects of the game like I can do this way better, or I can do this way better. I get more proteins from this animal if I have this one equipped. So it basically allows you to do everything the game you do. It allows you to upgrade that ability.
So that brings up a good I guess a good question, because I know in it there's kind of a survivability aspect to it, right? So you need to
Yeah.
manage your, what is it? It's proteins, fats.
You don't need to manage them,
No?
but you need them. No, you need them to upgrade your
Oh,
armor and
okay.
evolutions. Yeah, and so there are proteins, fats, minerals, and mutagens.
They're like
Mutagens
considered
are,
currency, basically.
Okay.
yeah, and so when you upgrade something, it costs however many fat, and then the next level will cost however many minerals or whatever. Um, so they're just different types of currency, basically. Yeah.
So, like, as far as that's concerned, obtaining these throughout the game, like, do you
hmm
feel like that was a balanced part of the game? Like, did you ever feel like you're running low on them, or you're like looking for them?
There were times that I didn't have enough to upgrade the current armor or whatever. Like I would upgrade a couple things and then I'd run out of a certain one of those, like say fats. But you can really quickly go out and you can see what each animal or person gives you, whether it's proteins, fats, minerals. For minerals from turtles, you get fats from seals and whales and stuff like that. You get protein from humans and other fish. And so basically, if you go and you can upgrade the evolutions that allow you to gain more of one of those things, or up to three of them, if you want all of your accessories to do that when
Mhm.
you go out. So I never had an issue with any of those because I killed so much. I just killed everything, um, and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
that's the thing. The gameplay is just. It's not like, oh man, I need more of this, because it's like, oh sweet, I need more of this. All right, I can go out and kill more things.
Yeah.
You know what I
Nice.
mean? So yeah,
Not
and they
creepy at
make it
all.
easy for you to know what you're getting.
All right, Jared. Now I know you played a little bit of this too, right?
Yeah, I played about 30% of it, and I was in Joey's Discord when we were playing it, and we're kind of shooting the shit back and forth. Where he's like, "Oh, wait till you get to this part," but when he said that Chris Parnell is the narrator, it didn't click for me at first, and then I was like, "Wait a minute." He's like, "Yep, that's who you think it is." It's like, you mean like the guy from Lowly Island? We did that one Narnia song and SNL, and
An
it's not
archer.
just like an Archer is, yeah, it finally clicked, right? So when I figured out who it was, the comedic timing and delivery of the sound bites is perfect. Like it does it right at a time to where like you're kind of paying attention, and it makes you laugh. It gives you a giggle every time. It's very entertaining to listen to what he has to say. And sometimes they do go on repeat, but like like I thoroughly. It's a beautiful game from start to finish. So
And yeah, his voice is perfect for irony. He does irony very well.
yeah.
Uh,
I did have one little problem with it, only because I play the game in window mode because of my monitor setup the way it is. So if you go to chomp down on a fish and you shake your mouse to kind of like tear it,
Thrash him.
it thrash them. Like all of a sudden I would be thrashing, and then all of a sudden my mouse would go whoop off screen, and it would be in the middle of a fight, and it
just make you mad, basically.
oh yeah, Joe heard all of it. He's like, just calm down, Jared. Calm down. It's not the only time this is happening in a game. Just relax.
So
I mean, I'm the guy that throws a golf club backwards on a golf course. I make no sense. I have no rationale when this happens.
all right, so
but it was a lot of fun.
we should probably mention this for those of you listeners out there. Jared just bought an ultra wide. What is it, like a 77-inch ultra wide monitor?
No,
what do you have?
Come on, dude. It's a 49-inch Samsung super curved ultra wide. It is a lot of fun. It's 4 feet worth of monitor,
but you can't play anything in
full screen.
Unless,
if you intend on streaming it or using, I mean, you could play it in other ways, but like if you want like I play Call of Duty on it, and it's immersive. Like you're diving in and like you feel like the wind's like going past your hair. It's like it's really great. I can't do any racing games on it because I get sick. But yeah, there are because it covers your peripheral vision if you're sitting dead center. So yeah, there are some drawbacks to the screen, but hey, like people walk by my office when they first time they show up to my house, or
and they're like,
since I've got
what the hell?
And like, yeah, so they'll walk by these double doors because is my front door right there. They're like, what is that? I've had people out of the street when my shades open, like, what's going on in there? Like walking their dog, like, holy crap.
Bigger than my first TV, by the way.
It's bigger than my first TV. I think my office is about the size of my first apartment.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so Joey gave it what? You gave it an 8 out of 10 and then 7 for
8.5 out of 10 and then 7 out of 10 for replayability.
All right, Jared, what's your verdict?
Just for the mouse problems, for me, I give it an 8. As far as replayability, I don't have a rating for that because I haven't gotten there yet. I really hope that they would make game modes to where they made it harder. Like almost like a prestige, right? Would be kind of cool.
They did leave a kind of open ending, so they might weave yet another tale.
All right, good stuff, guys. There you have it, Maneater. Definitely something I want to play it before I forget about it. So I need to.
I think you can get a pretty good discount on Humble Bundle. So
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So next on our list in our stream upgrade section, we wanted to dive in because one of the questions I get a lot, and probably because I've gone through so much freaking audio equipment, is, dude, I'm about to start streaming. What should I get? Right? Like, this is a question that just amongst all of our friends and things like that, I get asked this a lot because I've got buddies that start with headsets using the mic, just like you've got on your HyperXs. And first and foremost, guys, before we even start looking at hardware, the thing that we probably need to let everyone know is just use whatever you have, right? If you are thinking about making content, if you're thinking about becoming a Twitch streamer, if you are thinking about doing anything, don't let a piece of hardware be your barrier to entry.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Because I mean, I'll be honest with you. I visit all kinds of channels and I see some extremely talented individuals that don't have $3,000 audio setups.
Yeah.
So let that caveat sit there, because we're about to talk about stuff that costs money and some of it's cheaper than others. But at the same time, if you're thinking, oh, I'll start doing this, but I need to wait until I get this piece of equipment, don't do it. Use whatever you have and just get it out there for the world to see.
Yeah. And this is such an important topic that a lot of streamers have a section of their page dedicated to what they use.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if there's something you see, like Chris's new microphone, which I think is gorgeous, if you see something like that, a lot of the time you can find that what it is on like the PC specs page or whatever on a streamer's channel. So it is an important topic, but like Chris said, don't let the lack of something stop you from creating.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we started we started on the Xbox, and I remember like we all tried streaming a little bit back then, and we were just using headsets, just regular old headsets. So, I think the next thing up that everybody ends up getting is one of these, right? We all have a Blue Yeti. So let's talk about entry level audio here. Now, a Blue Yeti, it's not the cheapest thing on the market. These things run about $130 now, $140. I think you can find renewed versions on Amazon for about 110. But for a USB connected microphone to start streaming, you're looking right at about the $100 range. There's a ton of mics in the category now. And, you know, to be honest with you, a lot of them are good options.
Yeah.
They're very, very simple to use. One of the probably the best things about having like a Yeti like this is you've got it's a good brand, right? It's made by Blue. You can get some really good sound quality out of here, and all you have is one cable, just a little USB that runs from this to your computer.
That's what I'm waiting on to get mine hooked up.
And it's plug and play. Like there's if that's all you want to do with it, it's perfectly fine. You can connect a set of headphones here, and it's got a volume knob on the front and a mute switch to mute your mic, but you can actually listen through all of your computer audio as well as have mic monitoring, so you can hear yourself talk in the headphones, so you're not, you know, you're not yelling at yourself, which is a pretty nice feature. But I mean, all
I
of
still
this
have that problem, by the way.
all of this in like a package with a single USB connection, and I mean super simple, but I mean a lot of if you look, a lot of streamers are using these still, and they sound pretty good.
Yeah.
What
You don't need an XLR mixer, you know
No.
what I mean, when you're just using an
Yeah,
it's
see this guy
it's
right
a simple
here.
plug and play. Yeah.
So one of the other things is setting these up, or it's pretty simple to do. And you can get as granular as you want. There are tons of software and plugins. So if you want to add EQ to your mic and make it sound a little bit bassier or a little bit more crystal at the top end, there's free software to do that. So for $140 to have a DAC that comes from the computer, a decent microphone, like you can't beat it. Yeah. So this was my first setup, right? And I had this. God, when did we get these? Like 4 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
Somewhere. So we've had these a while. This one's been sitting in my. I think I used this for like a couple of years before I changed out. But yeah, I think the one drawback to having a condenser microphone, and any sort of microphones in general, is going to be that they are typically very sensitive. So if you have a noisy environment, it's going to pick everything up. But also, on the other side of that, because it's a condenser microphone, you get a lot more detail in speech and things like that. That's why a lot of vocal recordings use condenser microphones. So heads up. So this is probably like the entry point that a lot of people are looking at. And guys, if you have any questions about anything that we're doing here, we're talking about, when it comes to audio stuff, I've got more headsets, more headphones than you will ever imagine that anybody should have. Like, I don't even know why. Like, I've got a headphone addiction. Anyway,
he's going to be using them as giveways on a stream eventually. I know it.
Probably.
He's gonna sign them and send them off or something like that. I don't know.
Probably. So, guys, anything that we're talking about today, add us on Twitter and ask us about it, because I guaranteed if it's talking about audio, one of us has gone through it, right? So,
any of the stream stuff though, we basically been doing this for years. We have experience.
So
feel free to hit us up.
Setup number 2, right? So this is something super simple that a lot of people will do, and then going to the next sort of setup would be going to an actual XLR microphone. Now, the trouble with XLR mics is that good ones, good condenser mics, tend to be a little bit more expensive. Now, this is an $18 mic that I used for over a year. It wasn't too bad, but I just decided that it wasn't for me. It picked up too much stuff, too much noise.
But it really wasn't bad.
No,
No.
Honestly, that microphone. You say how much it was?
$18 is what I paid for this.
18
when
bucks.
When you told me that price, I was like, no shiz.
Yeah. So the biggest problem with something like this is you've got to figure out a way to get this XLR input into your computer. So that's where this comes in. This is just a Behringer super entry level mixer, USB mixer, right? So there's a port on there for the XLR mic. It requires power and it requires USB to run to the computer. So just like this all-in-one setup here, this mixer has got a DAC on it, so you can run your headphones through it. It'll play all of the audio from your computer. It'll accept the condenser mic. And then in addition to that, you've got a lot more inputs. So if you wanted to run music from like an outside source, so from a phone or from a stereo, like you wouldn't just open up a Spotify, screen, you can accept all kinds of stuff in there. And basically what you do is you mix it all into one channel, and then the one channel will go out into the computer to use for streaming. Now, something like this one, when I bought it, was like $60 at the time. They run anywhere from like 60 to 80. So by the time you're buying this and you're buying a mic and you're buying a cable and then you're buying a stand for the mic, you're looking at anywhere from $100 to $200, give or take, with all the little stuff that's required and needed.
It does begin to add up after a while, for sure.
So I think the biggest difference in the audio quality of this versus something like the Yeti is going to be in granularity, like 100%. So if you're somebody that wants to add different sources into your channels and you think you needed a hardware interface to do that, this might help you out. If you're adding, Jerry, you're a musician. If you're adding like instruments and things like that, you could mix those together and stream those through this, something like this.
It allows for multiple channel input with the singular out, and I don't know if that particular brand allows for multiple channel out, because sometimes you want those independent tracks. So you mix and deal with the volumes later. But I mean, that's something completely different. I mean, I don't really want to get into the
ins and outs.
Ins and outs and what have you. Just know that this is what would be considered a basic XLR setup for streaming.
So. And really and truly, like that's all that does. In addition to those, it gives you a little bit more, like I said, granularity in the hardware controls. So this does come with a compressor and a built-in EQ. So getting a little bit different sound out of your mic, making sure that your vocal compression is set correctly. You can do that all on this one piece of hardware as opposed to messing around at a bunch of software. And that's going to be the biggest difference between doing something like this versus something like this. Otherwise, go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say, basically, you set your stuff. You can leave it normal on your computer. You don't have to constantly mess with anything. Like Chris said, leave your levels the way they are on your computer. Control it from the outside. It's a lot easier once you make that step from even just like a normal headset mic to a mic. You can use the Blue Yeti. You can use a USB one, but you do have more control over it if you're using an XLR. If you're using an XLR setup.
And then,
but like you said, it costs money.
Yeah. And then, when you graduate and you get to the point where you're just like, you know what, I've got a bunch of extra money to blow. That's when you go
stimulus check to use.
Yeah. That's when you get yourself like the Go XLR. The Go XLR is extremely powerful. I know I've talked about it before. it manages not only all of your audio, it manages audio inputs, it also manages audio outputs. So it takes those things away from the Windows system and allows you to do it in a semi hardware fashion. Um, guys, these things are $400 though. Like if just because you see like everybody that has one and you think you need one to get started, don't. 100%. These things are, I put them in the category of it's super nice to have. And really, I would have bought one anyway, just because I'm into audio and I'm on the computer a ton of time. Um, but man, they're super expensive, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
But
and they will be coming out with a cheaper version of that. They do have it now, the Go XLR Mini,
yeah, the
which
mini.
is half the price but half the function.
Yeah.
So
The Go XLR is very pretty. It's an amazing mixer, but it's it's there on my list too. I'm gonna get it at some point, but like Chris said, I'm not gonna pull funds away from other things to do it right now, because if what you got works, it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, so the last part of this, like expense wise, would be like the setup that I'm running right now. So guys, I've got a Rode Procaster, and this is a dynamic microphone. So this is different from a condenser by way of a condenser. The way that it works is, and I guess I don't want to get too technical, but it accepts through phantom power. Basically, there's a really, really, really thin film that you speak into. And as you speak, like the wind in your breath or whatever, like it vibrates this little membrane back and forth. And they're super sensitive, which is why they pick up all the sound around you. But you get that clarity. Now, a dynamic mic, the trade off is you don't get quite the clarity, but it blocks out every background noise known to man, basically.
Yeah.
definitely something I need with 3 kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So, but this setup here, right? I mean, with a Go XLR, with a mic, with the stand, and all this, like, this is easily close to, I mean, it's easily close to like an $800, $900 setup. Like, I don't
Mhm.
recommend that to anyone starting out.
And there's still higher end gear to get too.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
mean, this is would be considered a mid to high tier.
Yeah, I mean the microphone alone was 230, and you look at like a lot of streamers are using Shure SM7Bs, which are $400. So I mean, you're looking at $1,000 in audio equipment. And
Mhm.
honestly, guys, if I didn't have a full-time job that I've had for years and years and years with expendable income, I wouldn't have any of this crap,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. If you have the money and you're sure you're going to be creating content in one form or another, go for it. But most people don't have, $1,000 especially when you're just starting. Like when you're just starting, it might seem like something you're going to do forever, but sometimes life gets in the way. You know what I mean? Like be smart with your purchases
And I mean,
and upgrades.
and let's be honest, like if we're looking at the Blue versus this other XLR setup, I mean, really and truly, if you take the time and you set up right, then you can edit everything in post and learn to do that and still make everything sound super yummy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to soundproof your walls. You can try to, there's a lot of things that you can do, what I'm trying to say, without needing to spend $1,000 for an audio
Mhm.
setup. So,
There's a lot of ways to go.
so guys, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to all this junk. Um, I know there are tons of YouTubes and stuff out there, but if you have questions and you want to ask, just add us on Twitter. At me on Twitter.
And if we don't know the answer to your question, we'll point you in the right direction for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Guys, do you want to, did I miss anything? Do you guys want to chime in on any of the audio rant?
real quick, I mean, the one thing that I don't like about the Blue Yeti, and Joe's about to graduate to the Blue Yeti, where I'm about to graduate to the XLR setup. We're all at different stages of our audio setup, and that's perfectly fine. So, I mean, you could hear it right now on stream and on YouTube and wherever you're listening to this. Is that my mic sounds much different than Chris's, and it sounds much different than Joey's. So, I mean, you're getting a very, very good like base run on how audio should sound and how it does sound on different pieces of equipment.
But we're also looking at it live too. So it's a very different experience when you are creating content that you're editing after the fact, you know? So
I agree.
I mean,
yeah,
but I definitely I agree. Right, that's why
I just don't have I personally, when it comes time for me to drop some money on it, which I gotta do my kid's computer. I promised them a gaming computer they did honors programs, and so I gotta shell out a little bit of cash, right? This is before I buy them cars anyway. I can deal with a gaming computer, right? So I'm gonna go with the $100 Rode podcaster mic. There's two different ones. Like so, Chris has the $250 one, and I'm gonna go with the Go XLR Mini. I don't need all the bells and whistles. I just need it to work. So that's what my intention is: improving my stream going forward from an audio perspective.
Yeah, and one of the things I really wish that they would have had in stock, I wish they would have had the pod mic in stock, because the Rode pod mic is this. It's just a slimmed down version of this one, and it's less than half the price. Like honestly,
sweet looking mic.
If
I also like the Audio Technica, the $100 Audio Technica.
Oh, the AT 2020.
Yeah,
that's a good one too. That one's been around a long time. Yeah, guys.
There's some really good mics out there that are not all that expensive, and if you just take the time to EQ and set them up correctly, it's worth your time.
That's probably the biggest thing that people, I think, fail to do or fail to realize. Like tuning a microphone and getting that set up for your environment, because your environment's going to change, and when your environment changes, you've got to retune that mic, whether it's noise gates, compression, EQ. You might be streaming in from your living room most of the time, and then all of a sudden now you're moved into your bedroom. It shifts. There's different sounds, there's different noises in the background. So staying up on it and setting it up correctly each time is really something that requires a lot of patience. But once you dial it in, I think you're good.
It's just like any other musical instrument.
Yeah, no matter what setup you have, no matter if you've got a Yeti or if you've got an XLR setup or you've got something like this, setup is the key. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of me ranting about audio.
It's enlightening. It's good to know these things, especially if you plan on streaming.
Well, I feel like I've gone through so much over the years. Like I want to let people know what my experiences are, because going through like the setup for the Yeti, super simple, super easy. And then you dive into the XLR world, and then you're worried about noise floors with the mic. You're worried about feedback and ground loops, like in your electrical. You just open up a big can of worms, and it's like, if you don't really need all that, then it may not be the right road for you to move forward with.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody.
Personal preference, yeah.
Yeah. So guys, seriously, guys, I know I've said this a bunch. If you have any questions, at Shiesty Chris on Twitter, just ask me. I'll tell you 100%. I'll give you my honest opinion on whatever you're asking, because chances are I've been there and done it. All right.
Sweet.
Let's move on. Joe, every week,
yes, sir.
Every week you have a segment, and it's called
Help Me, I'm Being Held Against My Will. So Sludge Life is free on the Epic Store for a long time. It's described as a first-person open-world, vandalism-centric stroll through polluted island full of cranky idiots and a vibe so thick you can taste it. The Steam Summer Sale is coming soon. It always starts sometime in July. A leak on Twitter says it's confirmed to be July 25th, or sorry, June. It usually starts somewhere time in June. Twitter leak says June 25th to July 9th. Is always a great sale with huge discounts all across all genres. Be sure to check in to see if those games in your wish list are priced better during this time. The Steam EA Access sale, it's basically a promotion for the new EA Access that's going to be on Steam. It's something like 25 big EA games that weren't available on Steam before this. Now, we got a big drop coming soon. The Last of Us Part 2 drops June 19th. If you have PS4, it's a must play. This is the kind of game, this is the kind of game that people buy consoles for. If you haven't played the first, I would recommend playing the first before you play Part 2. And just one little addition this week, the Mandalorian Season 2 is confirmed to release in October on Disney+. Jon Favreau says it was all filmed before any of this stuff happened. So it's not going to be delayed like a bunch of the films, series, and games this year, which is exciting news. So once again, this has been Joey Shabadoo. And help, I'm being held against my will. Chris?
Oh gosh, Joe.
That's fantastic.
That's, yeah. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, it sounds like there's a ton of game sales coming up that we need to be watching out for.
Yeah, definitely the Steam Summer Sale. It's always a biggin'.
All right, good stuff, guys. You heard him. You heard it here first. I don't know who's holding Joey against his will, but watch out for all the game sales coming up in the next month or so. ... All right. So about this time,
I got it.
Yeah.
I figured you would, Navy boy.
The aviation Navy guy who got it. Okay.
The SOS, and yeah. So, guys, about this time in the podcast is usually where we would highlight a lesser known Twitch channel for our viewers to take a look at. Today, we don't have one. And the reason for that is we wanted to tease a little upcoming special episode that we've got coming up.
We're super jacked about it.
Yeah. Yes. So when we started this thing, we originally teased that we were going to get some, I guess, have some interviews with some of these cool channels and these cool hosts. And we're working on one right now. So by the time this podcast comes out on audio and YouTube form, the next or the interview episode would be out the following week. So you guys have to tune into this.
Yeah, check it out.
Because it's going to be fun. In addition to one of my favorite people. In addition to that, we want to call out to all of our listeners, all of our viewers, because we want help finding more channels.
Yeah, add us on Twitter, comment on YouTube, wherever you can. Let us know, like, who you like.
Yeah, what we're looking for is, because there's only 3 of us here, and we all have day jobs, so we do this for fun. And we've got a list of channels that we're working with now, but we're looking for, we are, just like Joey said, we're looking for the smaller communities that you guys are involved in, that you guys love to watch. It doesn't care. Like, I don't care what the game is. I don't care what the category is. You know, if you enjoy it, we want to hear about it. So we've got a couple different places where you can get in touch with us at. You can get us at bitratepod@gmail.com. You can at each of us on Twitter if you want to. You can DM us on Twitch, basically all the socials, guys.
And our socials will be down below on YouTube. So if you don't know, check there.
Yeah, links in all the descriptions for sure. But yeah, we want to hear from you, because we want to give shout outs to some of these people that you're watching that you think need some
They
views.
deserve it.
Yeah.
You think they deserve it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. So, and to piggyback on what Chris was saying, is that Twitch does a absolutely terrible job at discoverability. So, I mean, we could wade through 10,000 channels if we really wanted to, but we want to know what you guys think, really.
And sometimes we do. Some nights we just go down a rabbit hole.
3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all wired out.
How many DJ channels can we watch tonight, Chris?
Hey, you know what though? I won't lie that there's been a couple of good ones, you know?
Dude, I found this amazing body painter.
That doesn't surprise me,
I'm
Joe.
not-
It's the weirdest. You'll find the weirdest things, and that's the best thing about this about the Twitch
amazing.
community is that you'll literally find whatever you're looking for if you look hard enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, guys, don't be shy. Add us wherever.
Hit us up.
Yeah, we want to know.
Even if you just want to say hi, be like, "Hi, dude."
Just like that too.
I did.
My dude.
All right. Well, I think that's going to. I think that's it.
That's it.
That's all we got. What can we look forward to from you guys this week, Joe?
I'm really gonna try to fit in at least 1 or 2 streams. I don't know what game I'm gonna be playing. Maybe Minecraft Dungeons, maybe something just out of left field, you know. It might be something that I talk to the community about. I don't know. But I'm gonna try to get at least 8 hours in this week streaming wise. Other than that, I'm going to be hanging around in my community Discord and also Chris's and Jared's community Discord. And I will be working on getting this beautiful product out to everybody on YouTube.
All right. Jared, how about you? What's going on this week?
Well, I think that, you know, I just made affiliate, so I really want to make a push for it. I would really want to make a push to grow. Thank you very much. Shameless plug, to grow the community that we've built, right? So I want people to really figure out who Rumbleston 714, Shabadoo, and Shiesty Chris really are, because you know we've attached ourselves to, and we've been active in other people's communities, which I wholeheartedly suggest. Don't think that somebody's just gonna find you one day and all of a sudden, no, you gotta get down and dirty, meet these people, because they will support you if you support them. So, but as far as games are concerned, pretty much ready to uninstall Crucible, but we can get back to that next time.
Yeah, you know what? Let's I don't know why I just paused there for a weird length of time. Let's before we end this, dude, let's talk about Crucible. So guys, we said that we were going to play some Crucible again to get a second opinion. I completely forgot about this because the game is trash, but that's my opinion. Game is trash.
It definitely it needs some work. It needs some work. It needs some balancing.
So
yeah.
As we all know from past episodes, I'm the stat guy, but you know what? Chris went down the rabbit hole on the stats on Crucible. When they opened the first week, they had over 7,000 unique users and like 12,000 viewers on Twitch. We checked right before we went live today. They had 76 viewers on Twitch?
77 viewers on Twitch.
77 viewers.
Wow.
The player base is less than 500 right now.
Yeah.
So if that's not a fall from grace, I don't know what it is. And they better figure it out, because
they're going to come back like a No Man's Sky, dude. Just do a complete rework.
You know what's crazy is like I was looking at these reviews right before we started playing it a week or so ago, and I've only got a couple of 8-hour game sessions in maybe. Anyway,
it gave it more than it was worth.
So yeah, there's way too much there that really needs to be retooled. You know, from the map system to the ping system to, there's still no communication system in this game. like the gunfight doesn't like the shooting in it doesn't feel, it's not rewarding at all. Like you don't feel like you're landing hits. It's just,
it's wonky.
It's a freemium mobile game disguised as a PC game, I think.
There you go. Well, okay. I saw Polybridge 2 was a pretty decent game. I watched some streams on that. I'm kind of gonna get back into. I'm really gonna do a deep dive into Before We Leave, which is it's a game that not really a lot of people play. It's on the Epic Store. It's a phenomenal city civ builder, and I'm always looking for new games to play. I'll probably still hack and slash my way through Minecraft Dungeons until we beat it on the hardest difficulty. And I'm gonna go stream hunting. I want to find. I already found a couple really good ones, but I want to find the one, right? The one that's going to keep me coming back as far as new communities and things like that.
Cool. All right. And then, well, I guess for me, this next week, I need to get back into some Overwatch because I feel like I've neglected it over the last week, doing stupid stuff like wasting time on Crucible, building ramps in Astroneer.
Chris,
That is one thing I will be playing as Astroneer.
But
if you get some time this week, let's play Overwatch together, not comp, but just like arcade or quick play so I can get some of them loot boxes because it ends on the 9th.
Yeah, okay.
Dim loot boxes.
On game.
Dim loops.
So like early this week, so I'll be streaming tomorrow, probably doing some Overwatch, and then later in the week, either Overwatch or Apex or Minecraft Dungeons. I'm gonna be honest with you, like I've had a lot of fun in Minecraft Dungeons, and I mean we talked about it earlier, but even like my buddies that are hardcore like FPS guys, the guys that have been playing Warzone like nonstop since it came out, like they took a break. They're all over MCD right now. Like
it's good.
Already level 100, you know, or whatever it is, level 90, already top tier. I'm like, guys,
texting us their gear.
Yeah. At like midnight.
Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah. Thanks, Anthony. But anyway, that's what you'll see from me this week. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Stop by, like I said, tweet at us, stop into our streams. We appreciate you all. Guys, links in description. Say goodnight.
Night, guys.
See you later. Thanks.
Love you.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Good night, gamers.
Bye-bye.